What's going on, Show Nation? It's Movie with Movie Gaming TV, and in today's video, I want to talk to you guys about some of the new rewards and kind of how I'm setting up my team. We got some interesting new rewards in the Battle Royale pool today, and they are some very, very good cards. We're going to talk about them. We're also going to talk about the new headliner. I already pulled these packs. I pulled all 5 of them. I did not get this card. I was going after this card, though, because it's pretty good. I got Anthony Rendon. I did hit a diamond, but I did not hit the Matt Chapman. He goes 82, 72, 97, 109. He has 99 fielding, a 92 arm, 99 reaction, and 93 arm accuracy. He's probably the best fielding third baseman that I've ever seen in the game. Never really see a 99, 99 on fielding and reaction. I don't know what could be better than that. I'd be interested to see if he can still make some, like, every single play down the line. There are some spots where it's just, I don't care how good your fielder is, you know, you can hit the ball and they won't get it. So to a certain extent, you know, you always got to keep in mind, like, because a lot of times the reason I say that is because, like, a lot of times I think to myself, like, man, I would have, like, the best fielding possible. But then one thing with fielding you got to think about is, are you giving up a lot of home runs? Because if you're giving up a lot of home runs, your fielding really doesn't matter. So just think about that when you're building your team. But also, like, understand that they might not get to every single play. But I'd be very interested from a lab perspective to see how much ground this card can cover. Because, man, does it have fielding. He also has good speed. 69 speed for a third baseman is pretty solid. I know you could get, like, a guy in a secondary type of spot, but for a pure third baseman, 69 speed's pretty good in my opinion. The 82-72 is going to make the PCI, it's going to be pretty small because he doesn't have a ton of contact. So his PCI is not going to be, especially that center PCI is not going to be that big, but he does roll through with 97 power, 109 average, or 109 power versus left. I'd say his swing is generally, I'd say it's like average. I don't think it's like amazing, and I don't think it's like terrible. I just kind of think it's kind of stock and kind of average. So not really one that's like, oh, you got a crazy boost one way or the other. But this card to me would be amazing on like All-Star and Hall of Fame, really more so like All-Star. Like, he's gonna have fantastic feeling. He has a ton of power. That contact, you can mitigate it on, like, when you get the bigger PCI from like All-Star. So if you're a guy that's out there, you know, you play in like the 500 to 600 range, you know, you kind of play on All-Star a lot, I think this card will be really, really good. It's going for almost 70K buy now, 60K sell now. It might be better up on the upper levels, but I think like on Legend, it just gets a little bit. I think it gets a little bit difficult up on Legend. It's not a lot of contact. It's a lot of pop. I mean, if you had amazing PCI placement, this card would be incredible. I still like to have a little bit more hitting. I'll sacrifice a little bit of defense. But overall, this is a very exciting card to have in the game. I think this is a cool card. You don't see a lot of cards that have like this max defense and max power, you know, at third base. I think this is a really cool card. I'm interested to see if you guys are going to try him out. I personally, and we'll talk about like who I'm running on my team. I personally am not going to run him right now, but I think he has the potential to be a very good card. We're going to have to see how that goes, but that's just kind of my thoughts on seeing the card. Let's talk about these new, more expensive BR rewards. So we got 2 of them today, and they are both really stacked. They're both really, really stacked. The first one that I want to talk about is going to make me go bankrupt. There's no doubt about it. Wagner, 122, 125, 85, 91, 125, 82 control with 99 velo, 99 break. He does have the outlier quirk too, so his fastball is going to be straight up gas. Now, 122, 125 is solid. I believe the other one has 117, 125. This one has a 4-seam, a slider, a curveball, and a changeup. So he has 4 pitches now. I think he has more velocity and more break. Let's go take a look at the other one as well. So keep in mind what those are. I'm going to try to keep them in mind the best I can. I wish I could compare them side by side, but I don't have the other one, so I can't. He has 3 less stamina. He has 5 less H per 9. The control is a lot less, even though I think this card controls pretty well. He only has 92 velo and 95 break. So he doesn't have nearly as much break. He doesn't have nearly as much velocity. And those are like based on all of his pitches together, but still that's kind of something that is important. And he obviously doesn't have the changeup. So this card is still really, really good in my opinion. I know my ERA is kind of high. He's pitched a lot of innings. I trust him probably the most out of every single left-hander in the game. I like him and Chapman. I only carry 2 left-handers. These are the only 2 left-handers I like to keep in my bullpen. So this one is a better version of him. It's a much better version of him. It's a lights out best left-handed pitcher in the game. Well, at least best left-handed relief pitcher, if not the best left-handed pitcher in the game. 122, 125. Let's see. The curveball is 80. The changeup's 83, and the fastball is 102. The slider's 89. He's a problem, man. Just he throws so much gas from like such a low perspective. This card is going to be super expensive, and I would imagine it's going to be expensive for a long time. Just because in theory, everyone needs this card on their team. It's the best left-handed reliever in the game. It's kind of like how Rollins Chapman was. Except for this one's going to be much more difficult to obtain. I want him now. I can't just drop that many stubs on him right now. I just flat out can't. Like, I probably will try to get him at like the 600,000 or 700,000 range. So once he drifts down toward that, I'll probably pick him up for that. For that price, it's just a little bit over the top. For my liking. I mean, it's a huge difference between the buy now and the sell now in a way, even though it's not really because of tax, but it is a big difference, and I could really, really use this card. I'm sure we all could, but I need to get him at some point, so hopefully he goes down a little bit in price, but I'm not too convinced that he will, but I can't wait to add this card. He's that good. He's the real deal. This is like basically, if you played an MLB 18, it's like the immortal type of card. You know, this is an immortal type of Billy Wagner. It's top of the line. You really, really are going to want it if you can come across it. So if you got a lot of subs out there, you're watching this video, you want to get this card. If if you're planning on saving up somehow, it will be worth it. It's expensive. It's no doubt expensive. That one that was up there is already gone. So someone just bought him for 888K or what have you, dude. Like, it's no joke. He's gonna be. To me, it's the card you want to get out of these new rewards. Now the other one is not bad. It's not bad at all. It's Roberto Alamar, 108, 118, 78, 77, 93 vision. He's got max bunting. He has 98 fielding, which is like. I don't even know. I'm trying to think of any other second baseman that has 98 fielding. What is like prestige Ryan Sandberg had? Does he have like 95? He's so good at fielding too. Like, his double play turns are ridiculously fast. I can only imagine what the 98 fielding is like on this card. 85 arm strength, which is actually a lot for a second baseman. That's like higher than I see most of the time. Just at A plus at fielding. Is only down at 83 speed, so he doesn't have like a ton of speed. He doesn't have like 95 speed or something where he's just ripping bags left and right. He doesn't even have like 87 speed. He has like 83 speed, so he's kind of comparable to like Larry Walker-ish speed, I want to say. Maybe a little faster than Cody Bellinger. So it's not like elite speed, but it's not bad speed. He also has 94 stealing, so hopefully he gets good jumps off the RNG with that 94 stealing. 108, 118, switch hitter. Actually, no. Yeah, sorry. I knew he was a switch hitter, but when I looked up to look at his stuff, I saw throws right, and that threw me off for a second, so I apologize. 100% switch hitter. I was like, what in the world? Sorry about that. Anyways, he's a switch hitter and he has one of the best swings in the game. It's flat out one of the best swings in the game. It's this two-handed swing. It's very, very smooth. Lots of people used it on that creative player last year. It hasn't changed coming into this year, which is nice. It's just an amazing, amazing swing. So he has 78, 77. Power versus right, power versus left. He's going to play above that. He's not going to, he's going to play above that because the swing's so good. You're going to be able to time it well. You're going to be able to hit well with this card. It's going to be, I'd say it's going to feel more like an 88 power, 78 power, or 77 power type of thing. Plus, he's got a ton of contact, so his PCI is going to be legit. It's 108, 118, 93 vision, so he's going to have a good timing window as well. If you like to bunt, he's going to be a great bunter, 99 bunting. You could set him down lower in your lineup or something like that. He's got good speed. He's got good bunting. You can bunt him you place him in the second. I think he is, without question, he's an elite card. I think what scares you a little bit is he costs a ton. He doesn't have a ton of power, but even though he'll play above that, maybe that's like, this card was used a lot. I know they had the Blue Jays version last year, but basically this card isn't too much different to me than the Blue Jays one. It's not too much different. It's kind of the same deal. And what ended up happening last year is it was pretty much this card at second base versus Rogers Hornsby. And their cards are a little bit different this year, and I think it's going to be kind of the same type of debate. And then you also have Biggio and you have Prestige Sandberg. So let me talk to you guys a little bit about how I'm rolling with my team right now. As far as I feel like you gotta have Wagner, and I feel like with Alamar, you don't necessarily have to have him. I rank Wagner way above Alamar, but it doesn't mean that Alamar's. So if you guys haven't watched a gameplay in a while, or you haven't been through a stream in a while, which is fine, I just want to give you guys an update of how, since we've got, Frank Thomas and all these other cards in the game, especially like the beach packs, I've tried out pretty much everyone. This is how I'm rolling with my lineup for right now. Still working towards getting the Prestige Trout. I think he is excellent. If you want to, you really should do this collection. If you haven't done Mantle, do Mantle first. But work towards getting this card. This card is going to be probably in my lineup till the end of the game. He's that good. He's just flat out that good. I don't know. I'm very confident he's going to get home run a lot of the time. He's not even Prestige yet. He's going to get even more ridiculous. He's one of the best cards in the game. I can't take him out, especially since he's got decent enough arm strength. Obviously, Mantle, we don't have to really go over him. The Luis Robert card was pretty good. When I tried him out, he was all right. I had him for a while. He was okay. The Kenny Lofton card, I do like this card a lot. If you want a leadoff hitter, he's not going to get a ton of power. He's only got 70, 60. He might run into a home run occasionally versus right-handed pitching. 115, 70. He just has an elite swing. He has a great swing. He wasn't like a power type of hitter. He's a leadoff type of hitter. 95 fielding, so diamond fielding with 96 reaction, 99 or 98 speed, great stealing. You're gonna be able to steal all over the place. He's not super tall at 6 feet, so if you're trying to rob home runs at a wall, he's not super tall. You can play him in center field, but he doesn't have that great of an arm. I think he's more of a guy you play in left field. But he is a good card. This is a good card to have. He doesn't have a lot of pop, but he's got a great swing. He's got everything except for that. So, he can do damage. There's different ways to score runs in this game. You can hit it over the wall, but let's say you play it, you're not playing at ship it every time. Can be a very valuable card to get on base with contact hits, because there's more space in the outfield. Hitting doubles, stealing bases, covering a bigger outfield than ship it, and getting to everything. He can really be utilized in that way. I like this card. I like him, and I like Lou Brock in that way. Both super fast, super like good leadoff hitters, good swings. So and they're not as necessarily as expensive. As far as right field goes, I still like Larry Walker a lot. I've seen a lot of people saying something about Larry Walker getting patched, or I just think that's like, personally, I think that's placebo. I just think that's something like they didn't turn down Larry Walker in any way. I can promise you that. It probably just is one of those things. Like what happened with me and Larry Walker is I used him a ton, and I kind of just got burnt out from using him. I don't know what it was. It's like I got him all the way to prestige. I just used the card over and over again. I got a little bit burnt out using the card, and I took him out for a little while, and then I put him back in, and I was hitting really, really well again with him. So I was using Brock and Lofton for a little while. When I put him back in, I have not been able to want to take him out at all. I did try out the new Bryce Harper, and what you'll notice immediately is Bryce is just feels really slow in right field. This card is still super stacked. Like 125, 113 versus right is stacked. He's got a good swing. He's still 120, 96. Like there's no doubt he can hit hit a home run off a lefty. Like it's not a problem. The 95 fielding, the 99 arm, like all that's what really sets him apart from Bryce Harper. He's a little bit faster. He feels pretty good out in right field. To me, I like him more than the Bryce Harper. I just do. That might be something that could go into the equation of how you feel about it. I kind of like how he plays better versus lefties if I'm going to start him, and I like how good a defense he has. Now, Walker is a little bit slow. Like, he just is a little bit slow, especially out in the field. So what I often do is I'll set my defense so that he plays deep in right field instead of playing like Mantle and Trout. If a ball's hit over their head, they're so fast they can get to it and make the catch. Larry Walker, I usually will, what I do is I go into the defensive adjustments. I believe you hit down on the D-pad. You hit down on the D-pad, then you hit triangle. Once you hit triangle, you'll be able to go to like specifically the right fielder, go to always, and then set him deep. Because if they get singles in front of him, that's fine. But when the ball gets hit over his head and you could have made the catch, that makes a huge difference because you're taking away like a double or a triple. So it makes a really, really big difference to do that. It's just something that you need to do with him because he's not at that like 90 plus speed where if there's a ball hit over his head, he's going to go track it down. It gets caught in that gray area between, the fence and him not getting there, or even in the gap or anything like that. So if you just make that one small adjustment with him, his fielding will be, just as good as anybody's. But it's important to make that adjustment with him. So just be sure to do that. And if you have questions about that, just leave it down in the comment section below, or come by the stream sometime and ask me about it, and I'll show you how to do it. It's really easy to set up, but it's something that you're gonna want to do. You can also use that defense if someone's like bunting on you a lot. You can make adjustments to, specifically a lot of times like people bunt at that second baseman spot and like he's too far back, so you can always make adjustments to your defense like that. But that's pretty much the adjustment I make with Larry Walker. So you guys know that I really like Craig the Egg. I like him a lot. Hit really, really well with him. And what I'm going to do with him, though, is I have moved him to the bench because one stat I've been looking at quite a bit is this stat right here, and it's at-bats per home runs. And I want guys that I've been looking and throughout all my team to kind of get an unbiased perspective on who I should be using. Now, Craig gets a ton of contact hits for me. He's been super clutch. He's an emote in my Twitch stream. But he does have 14 at-bats between home runs, which is, when I look at the rest of my team, it just doesn't really jive with the rest of my team. For example, Jim Tomei has 7 at-bats per home run, which is pretty much top tier. If I'm hitting a home run with somebody every 7 at-bats, that's legit. So I was checking out most of them. I was hoping to be around like, 10 or under. I think it's pretty good. 7's like, that's like really, really good. It's almost to the point where I should like just start him. Like that's how good I've been hitting with him. So it's something to keep in mind. Let me take a look at some of these. Like Prestige Chef is at about 10. Chipper, he's at about 11, but like I've been running that. See how bad he is versus right-handed pitching, but way better versus left-handed pitching. That's why I've been doing this platoon with him and George Brett. Look at George Brett. He's hitting a home run about 10. Every 10 at bats, he hits a home run. All he does is face right-handed pitching. And so I think he's been pretty solid in that regard to hitting home runs. Because what he brings to the table for us is he brings really good defense. He usually makes like 1 or 2 plays a game where it's just helpful to have that gold defense. I'm interested to see what it's going to be like if I can get him to 125, 88. I'm interested to see what that's like. There's no pressure to this card ever needing to hit versus lefties because Chipper's so elite versus lefties. He's ridiculous versus lefties, in my opinion. He's still not that bad against righties, but this platoon has been very, very good. I think it's kind of demoralizing too to your opponent when they have that left-handed pitcher and they can see Brett and they're like, all right, finally I could take a breath. I'm going to get this easy out. Then, whoop, here comes Chipper. Like, using platoons is very, very important. Lots of times you won't go through your entire bench. There's several games you will just leave people on your bench without ever going through them. So you got about 2 spots, in my opinion, you can platoon with. Like, I'm using Chipper and Frank Thomas. We still have a guy versus, a right-handed reliever. We have a guy versus a left-handed reliever. And then we have a guy that can do absolutely everything. He can pinch run. He can hit. He can play all over the place, including catcher. So I think, like, Biggio is really solid right there. I moved my cap back to shortstop. I got rid of Jimmy Rollins. Rollins is fine. He's not bad. I'm just kind of not worried about prestiging him as much because I do think we're going to get the player of the month, Fernando Tatis Jr. Like, he's been hitting the cover of the ball. You guys got to remember that the game is made in San Diego. And I just have this feeling that everybody wants the player of the month, Francisco Tatis Jr. Like, I just feel like everyone wants that card. And I feel like they'll probably make that happen. And they'll probably make him happen with a lot of power. That would be my guess. Is it going to happen 100%? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, there's no saying if that's going to happen. But that would probably be like that one thing that would just be a major, major dub. So I'm kind of running my guy here. He's got a lot more power than my catcher cap actually does. He goes up to like 111, 106. He plays great defense. So I like him at shortstop. And I've moved Hornsby into second base. Now, Hornsby is going to boot some balls at second base. And, we talked about with Roberto Alamar earlier, it come at the very end of the, people use Alamar till the very end of the year. But then, if you're one of those people that plays in December and January and February, kind of the months when most of us that are playing this game still are, it's just like the strictly diehards, the people that are playing in esports, the people that just are baseball only. Hornsby overtook Alamar. I'm just bringing that up. If you I play this game pretty much year round now, and at the very end, Hornsby overtook Alamar. So it was just a little history lesson. Hornsby was at second. He moved around all over the place. He doesn't have the secondary of shortstop, but he does have first base now. He kind of moved all over the place last year, just kind of filling in holes based on where, just based on what cards had been released. So they released a really good second baseman. He'd move to shortstop or third base or vice versa. So they come out with a Chipper. Now we're going to move him back someplace else. He was on the bench for a lot of people for a long time. Because that defense is shaky, but the hitting is not shaky. The hitting is absolutely ridiculously elite. Let's see. He's at 9.33 at bats per home run. And this is all. There hasn't been an event game played with this card. There hasn't been a BR game played. It's all higher tier. He's got a pretty good swing. Once you get his swing down, and I feel like he's like, his swing to me feels really like you're gonna pull the ball. Like once you kind of get his swing down, he's ridiculous. He's got more power this year. I think he had like 96, 91 powered, and he got a little bit slower. I think he might have had like around 80 speed, but he's got 125 both sides. So his PCI is like ridiculous. And then 103, 110 is pretty ridiculous for a second baseman, especially the 110 versus lefties. You just got to put up with his defense, man. The games that you get away with him just making, like, he's very strange, man. Sometimes he'll make like a ridiculous diving play. Sometimes it'll hit him right in the glove and it'll bounce out. So you just got to take the good with the bad with his defense, in my opinion. Hope he makes some turns, but what he's really going to do damage is he's going to do damage on offense. He's going to do a lot of damage on offense because he's one of the best hitters in the game. And this is just so stacked at second base. I feel like you gotta play him. And I really like playing Biggio. I really like playing him a lot. But there's a huge difference with 14 at-bats per home run and 9.3 at-bats per home run. It's a big difference. Really, really good card. His price has kind of been all over the place. It's 118, 99. The beach ball pack's going away. You could have got him pretty cheap. I think I paid like 130 for him, so I was all in from the start. I just one of those, like, I'm not parsing over 20 or 30K subs. Just like I'm all in. Like I was happy to get him on my bench, but he's been to the point where I gotta get him in the starting lineup. His defense isn't going to be great, but at least it's silver, and he's just too good of a hitter not to play. And I don't know. I still feel like I'd probably would play him over that Alamar. I feel like I'd probably play him over that Alamar because that Alamar, while he's like got everything, he just doesn't have that power. The Alamar is like really is closer to Craig than anything else. You could even make an argument that Craig's better. I don't know. What it really comes down to, guys and gals, is what it really comes down to is they're all three really, really good. Do you want a switch hitter with the lead defense, a little bit less pop but still a good swing? Do you want a guy that's really fast at 93 speed, doesn't play as a lead of defense but still has a little bit of pop? Or do you want the guy that has like a ton of pop, doesn't have good defense, has medium speed? Like they're all three really good. I feel like I've been if you're playing at Ship It, you want to have Rogers Hornsby. Let's put it that way. If you're playing like a bigger park, I'd probably take Roberto Alamar because I can hit it in the gap, and I'm gonna need some defense. And like it's not gonna be as easy just to hit tanks like left and right. Like I'm not gonna, like, you can easily have like a 2 or 3 home run game with Rogers Hornsby, no doubt about it. Not gonna have that as much with like Alamar. It just kind of all depends on like your style of play. If you like to play at a bigger park, Alamar will probably be better. If you like to play at Ship It, if that's like your main thing, you like to hit a lot of, you like to play in the bandbox, hit a lot of home runs, I'd go with Hornsby over Alamar. So yeah, I've been really liking this card. You can even say the same. I'm probably gonna buy Bryce Harper back, by the way. Like I might even do it right now. But the thing is, I need to get that Wagner, and he's gonna be really expensive. So I've been kind of waiting. What I did was I tried out Bryce. I've only played with him for 1 game. I tried him out. I don't think I got a hit. What happened in this game is it was one of those games where I hit multiple ones that were home runs for fouls, but I struck out twice looking really. It was a weird game. I played a really good player. But the 116, 125, I think I need on my bench. I don't know, man. Let me know if he's just been playing better than Larry Walker. I just feel like the 125 is not too much different than what it is on the 116 and the 90. He only has the 91 power. His fielding to me just does not feel good compared to Larry Walker. If he feels slow, like the ball is gonna get in the gap, like almost like I'm playing Reggie Jackson out there. Probably a little bit better, so is the arm strength. I'd like to get this card back from my bench, but I'm not just like running out right now to spend 184 on him. I want his card to go down to like, I don't know, 100. So I'm kind of, some people are really wanting him on the other side right now, but I'm waiting for this card to go to like 100. That's just me personally, but let me know what your guys' experience has been like with him. But then it becomes like a question of where do I put him? The problem is Larry Walker and Bryce Harper, they really don't mesh that well. There's no platoon that you can run with them because they both have like the same kind of strengths. They're both really good against right-handed pitching. They're both right fielders. Like, you'd almost have to platoon Larry Walker with like George Springer. Like that would be the ideal situation because he's got 103, 124. So, that's kind of like where I stand on that. I like Larry Walker more. Babe Ruth has been fantastic. He's just been fantastic for me. What's his? He's at 10. He's at 10 at bats per home runs. He started off a little slow, but 125, 120, 121, 112. You don't need to platoon him if you don't want to. I'm going to just because I can, and you can as well. So if you get through the program stars, which isn't hard. So 75 fielding is really nice. 84 arm strength's nice. The 60 speed is nice. The swing is nice. If you like Babe Ruth's swing, I suggest you try out Lou Brock's swing too. It's very similar. They kind of just drop their hands. I don't know. It's a really, really good swing that really hasn't changed since MLB 18, and that's a good thing. It doesn't need to change. It's perfect the way it is. I would not play this card in the outfield. I don't think you're getting. I just don't play him out in the outfield, man. It's an adventure for him out in the outfield. It's not somebody you want to. If you can not play him in the outfield, don't play him in the outfield because it's just the 75 and 60 speed. I don't like slow outfielders, man. I like at least high 70s, but at this point in the game, I like 90 plus. So actually, I should say like Larry Walker and Willie Mays, depending on how Willie Mays is, they might get a platoon together, or I might just play Willie Mays. Like, that's probably what it's going to come down to for that. But Babe Ruth, again, like 75 fielding, 60 speed, 84 arm, like he's going to get balls like right at him, but he's not going to be making plays, and you kind of need to take away stuff in the outfield. In the infield, it is what it is. If it hits off Rogers Hornsby's glove and they get a single out of it, okay. But balls in the gap, like when you really need to stop the momentum, like you just play Babe Ruth. Long story short, play Babe Ruth at first. It's gonna be a lot better off. Got him platooning with Frank Thomas. So again, if they have that lefty in there, let's look how our lineup's going to look. We don't have anybody to roll with Larry Walker. We just kind of trust them at the top, left or right. It doesn't really matter. Versus right, we're looking to smash the ball over the wall. Versus left, we're looking to like hit the gas with doubles. And he just chills and plays defense. And we take pitches with him and to kind of get into the pattern of what's going on. That's something that I've really been trying to focus on lately is just, picking up the pitchers' patterns and trying to figure out, like, based on what the count is, based on what they throw, based on what the pitches they have. It's a real advantage when you can notice your opponent's patterns and think if you can put yourself in their shoes of what they're going to throw, and then you recognize the pitch that you're guessing. It takes your game to the next level. That's really something we might talk about in another video, but we got the. Let's say we're facing a lefty. So we have lefty with Walker, but then we got a switch hitter, righty. We go to Frank Thomas, who now versus lefty, we're rocking 125, 125. He's got a great swing. He's who I would take out of this. Just to have this Babe Ruth, Frank Thomas platoon, because it's a massive weapon. You're going 125, 120, right on left, and then you're going on versus a lefty versus 125, 125. You don't even have to prestige him. You don't need to even prestige him. You already got the 125, 125. If you want to sell him later on, you could for whatever reason. So you don't even have to really worry about prestiging him. He'll get up to 60 fielding. He'll get some more contact versus right. Get a little bit more vision and speed, but really that 125, 125 is going to be solid. It's going to be really, I don't know. I haven't hit that well with him yet. I'm only hitting 111, but I'm sticking with it. We're going to hit better. A lot of these have been versus right hand. Some of them were versus right-handed, pitching on Legend for some good players. He's gonna come around. I love his swing. I'm not worried about Frank. That platoon is gonna be really good. And then so yeah, we got a left-handed pitcher. We're going left, but then we got right-hander, 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 right-hander. Then Seaver comes in for George Brett, so another right-hander boosted. Then we got Jorge Basada. He started off very slow for me. Very slow for me. He only has one knock, but it actually happened in my last game that I played, and we got a huge win because of it. He's got 3 walks and 3 strikeouts. I'll bat him down in the 8 hole, which is kind of a problem because he's not going to... I like the sack bone with my pitcher a lot, but he goes 76 fielding, 78 arm, 78 block. His fielding's not that good. It's a silver fielding. But when I look at all the catches in the game, Matt Wieters, putting your cap there, he still goes 98, 107, 108, 97, 91. He's coming around. He's got a great swing. He's going to be a beast. Just have to get more plate appearances with him. We got to get more home runs with him. That is the one thing that for him to stick around, we got to get more home runs with him. But I think I'm going to be able to do that. The 98, 97 solid and the 108, 91 solid. The switch hitting solid, the swing solid. I'm hoping that I can beast with him. But if we get the Tatis, then I'm going to move my cat back to catcher and I'll move Tatis here. But we'll have to see. But for now, Posada is going to play over Jimmy Rollins. He just has a little bit more power. I just think he's a good catcher to get. I don't think he's that expensive either. He's gonna go up in price though if we don't get that beach ball pack back for a while. He's already gone up quite a bit, but he's a cool catcher to have. I rate him as the number 1 catcher to have. I know his defense isn't that great, but he's a beast. So give him a shot if you haven't already. As far as the pitching goes, we got Kluber, Sale, Maddox, who's very close to Prestige. Can't wait to get him Prestige. Oral Hershiser, Outlighter. Everybody's fine. I just think like the one upgrade that I'm going to have is whenever we get Clayton Kershaw, I'm going to toss him in there. Tom Seaver, he's been fine. I faced him a couple times. He's like not great, but he's not terrible. I just feel like after you see him for a couple innings, you smash him. I know I didn't pitch that well with him when I pitched with him. But I don't think he's too bad either. I think like he could be okay. Especially I like pitchers that, I like players like this that you just get from in game because you don't have to spend any stubs on them. You can utilize your subs in other ways to make your team better. So he's got a good pitch mix. He's got good per nines. He's not bad. He's just like, he's not in like the top 5. But if I had to take somebody out of like everyone over here, I probably would take Kerry Wood, I guess. I would take Kerry Wood over him of these cards I got. But he'd probably be right in that mix, like, and just kind of like right there. So I don't have him over any of these guys in particular for me, but he's not bad. I like Outlighter a lot, but it's just the lack of a changeup hurts sometimes. He can be very, very good. I don't know. He's not bad, but I think that's a guy. I just like what it comes down to is I really like pitching with Kluber. I like pitching with Sale. I like pitching with Maddox. I like pitching with Hershiser. And then Leiter, I just kind of feel like he's more at like a B+ for me to an A-, while everybody else is kind of like an A to an A+ as far as like how much fun I have using them and stuff like that. And Kershaw will be in that A+ range. So I'll probably take out Leiter, but that's just kind of how I feel about it. Like for some reason, I don't really like pitching with Kerry Wood. I think Kerry Wood is very, very good. He's difficult to face. I personally just don't like his lack of control. You guys can see based on the pictures I have, like especially like Sale has unbelievable control. Kluber, Maddox, all these guys are like control pitchers that throw, sinkers and cutters. That's what I like to use. And then out of the pen, I kind of have a variety out of the pen. Like Raleigh Fingers is not too much different than these guys with that. A lot of good control, got moving pitches. I like using T-Hoff a lot. This card's great. The circle, you can use that. You just need to use that circle change. The circle change, what makes this card so good is it's difficult to come back on this card like late in games. It's just a low circle changeup. It's hard to drive. You know, if it's clipping the zone, you got to really look for it, but it's just tough to get good exit velocity off a pitch that's like 73 miles an hour. I don't know if that makes any sense. You know, you got to use the circle, use the cutter. You can throw all of his pitches. I don't throw the curveball too much unless someone was like on the circle and it's like 0-2. I'll just drop that curveball below the zone, see if they can go over the top and chase. But you can use that circle and that cutter in on the hands. You can use that fastball like up and into righties, you know, to keep them off balance, or even like above the zone. The fastball is going to seem a lot faster than his other pitches too, because, you know, he really just throws like a circle, a cutter, and a slider, and then you can spot that fastball here and there and keep him off balance. But I like this card a lot. I've always liked his motion. I pitched with this card for years, so I like him a lot. Great card to get. Gagne has been really effective. He's only got a 2.08 ERA. I thought when they came out with the beach ball packs, if they were to have asked me how to tier them, I would have placed Nolan Ryan in the tier for Eric Gagne, as far as how good they are. So I'm glad they didn't, though. They did it better than I would have done it, because now everyone can get a Gagne for a pretty affordable price. I consider like 36 to 32 a pretty affordable price to go after. He was down at 20. I actually bought one at like 25 and I just sold him for 36 because I figured he would go up once the pack went away. But yeah, he's a really, really, really good card. The other one that's like lower tier is not nearly as good as this one. This is the good one. This one used to go for like 200, 300K in the past. That's how good he is. And now you can pick him up for 30K type of deal. So I recommend that you pick him up. 125 has a good four-seam fastball. He has a good changeup. That Vulcan changeup's good. The curveball, I don't throw that as much, but it is a really slow curveball if you want to utilize that. And then I throw like the splitter a lot, and the slider on his other card that's like really, I think it's like a 92 or 91. I don't like his slider on the other one. His slider on the other one gets hit out for home runs. So I kind of avoid his slider a little bit, but it's better on this card than that one. You don't have to necessarily be afraid of pitching it. But I use mostly like the four seam with him. I use that changeup low. I use that splitter low. Just again, it's another card that's like difficult to come back on, and he's got a little bit of giddy up on him. And just 125 makes your opponent's PCI really small, and it also makes it so like they can't check swing, and their timing window feels really small with that Caper 9. So I definitely like Eric Gagne a lot. Definitely pick him up. Still got Dibble. My favorite way to utilize Dibble is, I don't like that huge leg kick windup that he has. I don't mind it, but my favorite way to use Dibble is like this. So let's say we start off an inning. We'll be bringing in, Wagner or Gagne or Hoffman or whoever, or even if with our starting pitcher we get into a little bit of trouble. We got first and second, one out. We're up by 1 or 2 runs. That's why I like to bring in Rob Dibble, because I can get him out of the stretch, and he's going to come in and he's going to throw that super gas, and I'm going to be able to control it because he's going to be out of the stretch. So I don't have to go through that huge windup. I just something about like runners being on, I feel much more comfortable using this card. So he's in that fireman role. That's what he does. He comes in and he just shuts down innings. He shuts down rallies. He's so much more effective out of the stretch, and it's so difficult. Like, let's say you're facing like Greg Maddux, who doesn't throw very hard or something like that, or Trevor Hoffman, or just you haven't, even like some of my junk pitcher guys, and then all of a sudden here comes Dibble. Like, good luck catching up to the 102. And the slider and the cutter, like the timing windows on all three of those pitches based on how fast they go and how they have movement. I've gotten a little bit better at hitting Dibble recently. I actually hit him pretty well last night when I played off stream and all that kind of stuff. But again, it's difficult to predict what someone's going to throw. You really got to pay attention to think about, like, are they going to throw the four seam, the slider, and the cutter? And you got to kind of guess right in your head. I mean, that kind of goes across the board for hitting, but it's really true with this card because you can't be wrong. Like, you gotta know if you to time with that fastball, you gotta be on it. And if you're guessing fastball and it's a slider and a cutter, you're gonna be in front of it. So, but that's how I like to utilize him. I don't like to like use him as my main closer. I utilize him in the fireman role to just put the fire out. Chapman still solid. I mean, you just gotta have him. You gotta have him at 125 each. Like, there's not like a ton of great lefty relievers. He's kind of wild. He's kind of wild and all over the place. At times, it's not like exactly really easy to spot with him. Love his sinker. Love his slider. It just gotta. He's just kind of somebody that he's somewhat inconsistent at times, but you gotta have him. I like Wagner a lot. We talked about him at the start of this video. I feel like he's got really good control, and he doesn't have that great of control. So the other one's going to be amazing. The other one's going to be top tier, especially with the outlier. By far going to be the best Billy Wagner card we ever had. He's going to shut people down. He's going to be difficult to deal with, and this one is still from the AOS. It's still really good. Still really like it. Mariana Rivera, I got him to Prestige. He's probably my favorite pitcher in the entire game to use. Just because he's got such a variety of pitches. He's got the cutter, the sinker. He's got the four seam that goes up to 100. Even on the regular Rivera, it's gas. So you can throw a sinker on the hand of righties. He can throw a fastball up and into righties. He can throw a fastball above the zone up and into righties to get him to chase. He's got the cutter, which you can put on the lefty's hands, put away from a righty. You can put up and into a lefty. There's so much you can do with the cutter. He's got the slider, so if they're trying to look for the cutter, the slider's so much slower. He's got a great changeup too, because a lot of times your opponent will be really amped up, and you just throw that changeup below the zone, and they swing over the top of it for strike three. It happens all the time. His changeup is super effective. It's really effective. People are gearing up for the cutter, they're gearing up for whatever, and it's really, really effective. He's really, really good to me. You can throw any pitch in any spot, and if you really know how to mix your pitches, he's really, really good. I like him a lot. I trust him a lot. I can even throw the sinker like up and into a lefty. When you know how to utilize all the pitches, long story short, he's really, really effective. So I really like having Mariano Rivera. The pitch set they gave him was perfect. Like, I hope they roll with his card like this in the future. So I really like it. But this video ended up being a little bit longer than I originally anticipated. And I hope you guys enjoyed it though. And we also, if you made it this far, we got the most triples in the CCL League this year. This week. So we're gonna be giving away some stuff on the Twitch streams as well. We got like a 67,500 stubs, like $50 worth of stubs. We got 5 10-pack bundles to give away, and we got 1 digital deluxe copy of the game. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. We're probably gonna do that on the Twitch stream. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys in the next video. Until then, peace out.